Hello again. I am Jeff England. I'm here with Keith Hewen, and today's guest is Joel Locklear from the Retirement Services Department here on Fort Polk, and you are listening to the Fort Polk Podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. It depends on when you're listening to this podcast, because that's what podcasts are for, right? So I'm here with Keith Hewen, my worker partner over here. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing great this morning. What about you, Jeff?
Oh, I'm Peachy Keen Jelly Bean.
Right.
And we got today's special guest from the Retirement Services Department or Office, Retirement Service Office here on Fort Polk, Joel Locklear. Mr. Locklear, how are you doing today?
If I was any better, I'd be twins. I appreciate what you guys do, and thank you for having me aboard.
Twice the Joel at twice the price.
Well, you're important to me at this point. In this point.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah. And a couple of years, I'll be looking for your services too. You know?
Only reason why we're kissing up to you right now.
So why don't you tell us a little about what your position here at JRTC and Fort Polk is?
Oh, thank you. I'm the Retirement Service Officer for JRTC and Fort Polk. What that means is I handle anything retiree related. If I can't fix it for you, I can sure direct you where to go.
So the retirement services, I do have a bunch of questions. Like Keith over here said, we're about to come over and be clients of yours. Now, as a retirement services officer, is that for civilians, for military, or for both?
Well, mainly my focus is Army and, any retiree from any branch of service. However, I don't turn anybody away. If you call me with a question for OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, because you're retiring civil service or say you're a NAF employee, we will take care of you. We'll direct you where to go and who to call and help you fill out paperwork. I even work with Social Security folks that may have trouble filling out their paperwork. So, yeah, we don't leave anybody on the curb.
So the question we didn't put on the list of questions that what's the most important thing I need to know right now if I'm getting ready to retire?
Start thinking about 10 years from now, because there is life after retirement, and a lot of people don't think of that. For instance, active duty soldiers, they have their memorial stuff. They have their memorial stuff taken care of. Funerals, their funerals paid for, all that stuff. That's not the case when you're a retiree. Things change when you become a retiree. The biggest thing is pay cuts. So make sure you got a 401k in place or an annuity of some type that you have steady stream of money coming in. That retired pay is cool, but it isn't the best thing.
Yeah, that's something I learned. I just recently retired from the National Guard back in 2019, and 2 years later, I finally got my retirement ceremony.
Well, thank you for your service.
Better late than never. Thank you very much. It was my honor. And, just like everyone around here, I'm actually a cheerleader for people staying in and getting their 20 years. I mean, you will not find a better retirement than retiring from the military.
That's correct.
And the one thing that I learned about the retirement from the military when you brought up the funeral services is the forever flag. And it's like, okay, here's your retirement flag. Here's your retirement flag. It's like, okay, well, that's cool. I always wanted one, put it up in my shadow box. No, that's the one they drape over your drape on. It's like, oh, that's what that's for. I guess I learned something new every day.
Yes, sir.
You're over, where's your office?
Building 250.
250.
Yeah, it's called Consolidated In and Out Processing.
It's right across the street from BJAC.
Yep, Suite 130 and 131, because I have a counterpart, the Assistant Retirement Service Officer here on this installation. Her name is Miss Rita Ashworth, and her phone number is 337-531-0402. And my phone number, again, I'm Joel Locklear, the Retirement Service Officer, is area code 337-531-0363.
And we're going to get those from you again at the end of the podcast to make sure people know where to reach you.
There you go.
And all your, all the ways they can reach you at.
And that's to me, that's the biggest key about retirement. It's And I tell active duty soldiers all the time when I brief them on pre-retirement, it doesn't matter where you're retiring from or how you're retiring. The bottom line is you got to study for it. I mean, we go out and run a range. We're beating the books up, trying to figure out what to do the night before.
There's going to be a test when I retire?
No, but you need to know everything you're entitled.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So you mainly concentrate on soldiers that are getting ready to retire.
Yes.
So anybody now, we're at Fort Polk. Is that all you deal with? Just with Army soldiers that are stationed here? How big of an area do you cover?
Oh, great question. I cover all of Louisiana and 9 counties in East Texas. So my area encompasses quite a big area, and at current estimates, 52,000 retirees and survivors. Because not only do I deal with the retired soldier, but I deal with their family members when that soldier moves on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we've had some conversations before at different meetings. So, I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's as simple as they can call you just to find the darn phone number that they need for something, or to get some serious counseling about how to handle a financial situation or a death in the family, God forbid, or even just personal matters that they need someone in the retiree community to talk to.
Yes, a lot of times I'm just there for people to vent to, because it can be frustrating. It's a long, drawn out process to get things done with the military, and soldiers are pretty used to it, but spouses aren't, right? And when those spouses have to deal with the camaraderie or the bureaucracy of the government, they run into issues, right? And that's what I'm there for. I'm a counselor. I'm a paperwork pusher. But my goal is quality customer service. And, Fort Polk, that's kind of what you get pretty much everywhere you go. It's a lot different down here than it is in other installations I went to. That's one of the reasons why I retired in this area.
So can you keep the IRS off our back?
With 87,000 new hires, I'm not sure about that. But
Now, as an RSO, how much experience do you have with your own personal retirement? Are you former military, retired military?
yes, I'm 23 years, 1 month, and 13 days active duty service.
Not that you were counting or anything.
No, U.S. Army. It just kind of sticks in your head. I was a field artillery meteorologist, red leg, combat weather. Cool. And it was a great job. Once I made first sergeant, it was pretty fun. And, it was fun the whole time. And like I said, all those years, they're great. But what's really great is the life after. I've got hobbies. I get to help retirees with their life and continuing on. It was fun, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, me neither. I had some bad experiences in the military. It wasn't all sunshine and lollipops, but the way the human brain works is that, I just love how it works as you tend to forget the bad times and remember the good times. And that's what I look back on my entire career over the 24 years and just say that I loved it. And when I retired, it took a little bit of adjusting to say I'm no longer in.
I was in Walmart the other day. I was in the line waiting for the cashier, and a lady was right in front of me, and she was complaining. She was number 3 in line. I was number 4, and she was complaining about them not having enough cashiers and how she was just mad because she was number 3 in line, and I'm number 4 in line, and I'm just happy as a lark. That's one thing the military will teach you.
Because you don't have to go back to your job.
It was patience. They teach you patience.
Hurry up and wait.
And yep, and I'm good at it.
Hurry. Just sit here.
Yeah,
for the next 3 hours.
They seem to have more self-checkouts there now than they do cashiers. And it's like, okay, so if I'm now working for you, where's my discount?
I asked them, I accidentally stole something the other day.
Uh-oh.
Well, the computer caught me because it's got that camera right there. And the lady, she came over and she goes, "You're not supposed to have 2 things in your hand at one time." And I said, "Well, that wasn't in the class."
Exactly.
that you taught me.
Sorry, you
And she
didn't train
looked at
me.
me and she goes, we have a class. And I said, no, that's exactly my point. If you're going to make me self-serve, then you need to give me a class.
Well, look, the good news is the retiree service office doesn't have like a self-serve center, right?
No, we
Right,
have,
y'all have all cashiers.
Full service there, full service.
and not only just Army, Fort Polk is we handle all branches of service. Navy, Air Force, I have a strong military background in my family, both Air Force and Navy. And it's always fun at Thanksgiving. But yeah, we won't turn you away. Even, and I know it says retiree, but if you're a veteran and you're not sure, you give me a call. I'll have an answer for you or be able to direct you where you can get an answer.
Now, I know there's some things that you guys do on an annual basis, monthly basis to try to get the word out to retirees and talk to the retiree community and stuff. So what do you have coming up this year?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Coming up on 15th of October, which is a Saturday, and as a former meteorologist, I hear the weather's going to be good that day.
Yeah, just wait a couple minutes.
We have the Retiree Appreciation Day here at Fort Polk.
Ooh, that's rad.
So that's Saturday. Retiree
Saturday. And it's going to be a blast. Opening ceremony starts at 8:00 at the building 250. That address is 1716 3rd Street here on Fort Polk.
It's the one that's across the street from the B-Jack down the hill.
Just follow the signs. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, they should be everywhere.
That's a little bit of ways. I mean, that's another month or so away. Are we going to, is there somewhere we can look for that to find out more information about it before then?
The JRTC and Fort Polk is going to have it on their website. The Guardian is going to be publishing it in the Guardian for the next few weeks. And trust me, you are going to hear me again. I am going to be out and about.
Get out of my head.
We had one last year, but the year before, COVID kind of shut it down. And so I guess everybody was tentative about coming out. This year, we're pushing it. So if you're in earshot of this podcast, come out to Fort Polk, JRTC and Fort Polk, and come on out that morning.
I know we're here to plug you, right? But I know the commissary does some stuff on Retiree Appreciation Day, and so does the hospital and the exchange and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. All the agencies on Fort Polk come together that day and do things. We do.
Oh, that's right. I went over to the commissary and they had like a little gift bag up front. That was kind of cool.
They got all kinds of cool little giveaways.
Yeah.
And not only that, we also having a golf tournament that day.
Golf tournament?
Yes, sir.
Like Soldier for Life kind of stuff?
Soldier for Life golf tournament, 4-person scramble. It's $50 per head. That includes all fees, to include cart fees, as well as lunch, right?
Well, anybody listening area, if you need a driver, I can do that.
That's right.
That whole golfing part.
You got a one wood?
But it is one of the premier things for us on that day. Last year we had like 20 teams. We're hoping to get a lot more this year. The more participation, the more it helps out the Retired Soldier Council.
Well, that's good. And if they want to, so it's $50 per head. And you said it includes everything?
Yes.
Even lunch?
Yes.
Nice. Club rentals?
No,
maybe not everything.
Club rentals will be, you know what? I got a few clubs. Come on.
I'm sure most people that are going to go are going to have their own clubs. I mean,
and sometimes we give away clubs. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, we're getting the word out there so that anybody who wants to donate to it.
And that's on October 15th.
Yep.
So nice. Is it just for retirees, or can anybody play in the tournament?
Any DOD ID card holder, if you can get on base, you can play in it.
Oh, that's it. Good to know. Good for the community to know. I know there's a lot of golfers out in the community that like to come on post and golf with the soldiers and the retirees on the regular tournament. So that's excellent opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day.
Well, be sure to register ahead of time.
Yes, sir.
You can call 531-4661 for registration,
or just Google the Warrior Hills Golf Course on Fort Polk, and that number pops up. Boom. Right.
Nice. And this is the 46th annual Retirement Appreciation Day.
Started here at Fort Polk, 1975.
Wow.
We skipped a year because of COVID. But yeah, 46th annual. This is my second. It's I really look forward to this event. This is what I do. This is what drives me. You're going to see me out and about. So, folks, tell your friends, tell your retired friends, tell their family members to come on out.
Okay, and if we do go out, well, when we do go out, what are we going to what do we expect to see?
Well, besides the commissary having stuff out for folks in appreciation, we're going to have access to Bain Jones Army Community Hospital. They're doing some good stuff. They're doing immunizations, dental checks, health and wellness checks. They also will have pharmacy services as well as information booths. Now, right after the cake cutting ceremony at 8:00, we're going to have information booths, legal services on Fort Polk. So a retiree and their family can come in and create a will or maybe get a power of attorney, which, as you get elderly, that's something you got to plan for. We're also going to have ID card services in case ID cards need to be renewed or redone. And information booths, we're going to have health agencies, veteran service organizations such as VFWs and American Legions, all set up and providing information for retirees. It's kind of a big old hug.
ID cards, is that going to be actually or you have to go over to the ID card center, or is there going to be a station where you can get them done?
No, there's the ID card center is right where the RAD opening ceremony is.
So you'll just walk in and get your new ID card, and that's just for retirees that day.
Yeah, and you're going to have to hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
that's new.
I do know that people travel quite a ways to get their new ID cards here at Fort Polk. I know folks that come from Texas, even though Barksdale's right there, but they'll come from Monroe and Ruston down here versus going to Barksdale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we welcome them with open arms. That day, we're hoping to get at least, last year we did over 30 ID cards during the tournament or during the ceremony.
Now, why would you need a new ID card? Mine says indefinite.
Okay.
So is that the same for everybody?
No, if you look on the back, it should have an expiration date, and that's not when you're going to die. That date, that date is for you to get a new ID card.
I think I'm going to stay.
Okay,
inside.
It does say indef on the front, but on the back it should have a date, and that date is when you turn 65 and become eligible for Medicare. Once you become eligible for Medicare, you get an indef for the rest of your life.
See, mine's a little different than everyone else's because I don't get to collect anything until I'm 60. So that's the big difference between National Guard and active duty.
That's correct.
Mine's a red ID card where I don't get a blue one until I'm 60.
Yeah, and if it's damaged, that's another reason why you want to do it. Sometimes coming through the gate, that they will identify you. Hey, there's something wrong with your card. If a card is reported lost or stolen, it'll be kicked out of the system. I've had people report stolen cards and then find it, but it's too late. Once you report it to DMDC that it's stolen, it's stolen.
It's no longer valid.
That's right.
So you get to the gate and your ID card doesn't work.
And as long as you comply, they're not going to handcuff you and throw you to the ground. They'll let you come through the gate and go straight to the ID card center.
What's one of the things that most people just, other than the financial piece, what's one of the things people miss the most when they're going through their retirement thing?
I'd have to say keeping up with their documents. A lot of people, all those documents from the military, it's called a DD-214, Department of Defense Form 214. Big money. That's the form that proves you were in the military. So if you decide to get a job outside of the military, they want to see that, right? You also have forms that you get from civil service that show you were in civil service, right? There's different things that they need for you. For instance, for you to get a military member that's retired to get a flag for their burial, they have to have a DD-214. That gets turned over to the post office, and then the post office will issue a flag to that family member. Usually it's done through the funeral home, but it is an important thing. So to answer your question, yes, document, keep up with them, keep them safe. I know we have a lot of hurricanes down here, but make sure it's in that bug out bag that you got.
Well, the good thing is va.gov is you can do va.gov, and my eHealth is for medical, and but va.gov is where you can go and get a lot of your documents.
Yes.
You can file for FOIA, which is Freedom of Information Act, which will get you your medical documents or all your medical records. It takes a while, and they show up on disk, and it's a pain in the butt, and they don't do a really good job. But you can get your DD-214 from there also. And speaking of all of that, do you think VA will be there?
We will have a VA table, yes,
nice.
With a representative from the Veterans Administration. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the gentleman in charge of the State Veterans Administration will be at the opening ceremony. So if you got a grievance, that's a good time to get it out.
There you go.
Because he will be right in the front row.
Sitting on hold there.
He'll even have a little nameplate on the back of his chair.
Nice.
So you can say, there he is.
There he is. Dun, dun.
Recognize it, track him down.
And I tell you though, I use the VA for certain things, and I use Fort Polk Hospital for certain things. The VA has really stepped up their game in our area.
They have.
I just got some hearing aids, and they're Bluetooth, and I can turn them up so my wife, I can't hear her. And,
Joel,
I'm
does
sorry.
she listen to podcasts?
Sorry, I can't hear it.
I'm going to make her listen to it, 'cause I've been married 37 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
you know how to apologize.
I sure do.
Okay.
So are you still wrong?
All the time.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. The first thing I learned was yes, dear.
That's
Yes,
it.
dear.
That'll keep you married a long time.
Yeah. So who all is invited to RAD?
Look, if you
RAD.
can get on Fort Polk, you come to our RAD. Tell your friends if they can get on Fort Polk, they can come on over. We're gonna have refreshments. We're gonna have
Pony rides?
no, we're not gonna have pony rides. Well, maybe we can do that. I don't know. I have to redo the risk assessment for it, but we're definitely gonna have donuts and coffee and waters, and usually. Some of the health agencies like United States Family Healthcare will provide carry bags so you can put all those little giveaways and goodies in there. Yeah, there's a lot of people just come here just for the giveaways and to shop at the commissary, to shop at the Class 6, and to shop at the PX, because those places, you still can't beat those prices.
Yeah, I remember growing up, and my neighbor was a veteran, and I think he was a veteran probably of Vietnam. And once a month or so, he would drive all the way out to the nearest installation and go shopping at the commissary. This was before Costco and all of those big package stores. So he would go out there and he'd get all this stuff. And it's like, dang, why are you driving all the way out there? It's like miles and miles away. Why don't you just go down to the grocery store right here? It's like, no, he gets a good deal on those things.
And this Retiree Appreciation Day, or RAD, is sponsored by the Retired Soldier Council. However, General Gardner, our new commanding general, and Colonel Smith, our garrison commander, have made it real easy for me to make this happen. And they are involved. Matter of fact, Colonel Smith is going to be the guest speaker at the opening ceremony. So we are looking forward to this.
Speaking of our leadership, they're pretty heavily involved with the retiree stuff, and they have they're truly concerned about retirees, is what I've gathered so far since they've come on board.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I saw Sergeant Major Hanson, the Post Sergeant Major, yesterday, and Sergeant Major Nielsen. Now they said they were coming in to get ID cards, but I know they were checking on me, and it's okay. It's because they care. Our key is to provide quality customer service. Now, sometimes I may tell a widow or a widower, something they don't want to hear, but I try to do it as nice as I can, because I'm not going to hide the truth from anybody, right? I have yet to meet anybody from Space Force. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're in Space Force, come see Joel Locklear, the retirement service officer at Fort Polk.
We have a former soldier from Fort Polk who is now in the Space Force. He's up in Washington, D.C.
That is too cool.
Yep. So he's now,
Too cool.
yeah.
You got to wait a long time for him to retire, though. So you might be retired before he retires.
If that would have been an opportunity for me, that would have been cool. It's like, all right, I'm in the Air Force. I'll switch over to the Space Force and stay there for a year and then retire. Be the first retiree from the Space Force. That would have been cool.
Yes, sir.
That would have been, yeah. It was like the first retiree from the Air Force back in 47.
Well, our retired council is heavily involved in this because they sponsor it. They're going to be managing the golf tournament. Our retired council chairman is Lieutenant Colonel retired Michael Juneau. He's a great guy. And then we got our co-chair, which is Sergeant Major retired Jesse Cavalier. They are both out of the Baton Rouge area, but they are the key members of our retired council.
You would think he'd be from Alaska.
Juneau,
yeah.
Do you know him?
He's, Juneau, I do. He's Cajun, born and bred.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
I thought about using my Cajun voice for this podcast.
Every time I think of that, I think of Waterboy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever. But anyway,
But I'd like to get a plug in for the retired council. Listen, folks, if you got this podcast and you live up in Northeast or Southeast Louisiana and you want to be a member of our retired soldier council, give us a call here at Fort Polk. Somebody will direct you to my office. We are looking for members across the state. What they do, the council, those members go out into their communities. They hit the VFWs. They hit all the retired functions for soldiers in the area. And I say soldiers, I mean military folks, right? It doesn't matter what branch of service. And they gather data and they bring that data back to our commanding general and our garrison commander so they can bring the concerns up to the chain of command to the United States government. So will it fix everything? No, but it sure helps to know what's going on out there.
oh, absolutely. It's information and knowledge is power.
That's right.
So how often does our retiree council meet?
Oh, we meet twice a year, usually February and August. We just had a meeting the other day. We were hashing out some stuff for the RAD, Retiree Appreciation Day, and it was great. We had the PX there to speak on behalf of the PX, and we had the commissary there, Miss West from the commissary, and it was fun.
Miss West gets things done.
She does. That whole team, whether it be PX, I mean the senior person for the PX was there, and she was just sitting in the back, and she was on point. And somebody from the commissary, I'm not going to say her name, but there was a problem noticed by one of our council members at the commissary, and she jumped on that like a ninja. She said, "That will not be a problem in the future. I have just fixed it." And I was like,
Oh, nice.
You go. Make it happen.
I'm as a retiree and VFW member, everything else. We do have a huge amount of community support for retirees around Fort Polk, not just on Fort Polk. It's really a great place to be as a retiree, and there's great services for you regardless of where you're going. You could be going back home to Oregon, but you can get everything done here. You can get yourself lined up. You can get yourself associated with the right organizations that'll help you when you retire. And I mean, really, you're that one-stop shop that can put them in touch with everybody they need to be in touch with.
That's it. That's what I do. I'm familiar with a million things, but an expert of none, right? I will direct them where they need to go if I can't fix it personally. And I'm in touch with all of the veterans organizations across the state, as well as many other agencies that can assist folks. I'm a member of the VFW Post 3106 here in Leesville. Right out the gate. Shout out to y'all down there in 3106.
Why, thank you. I'm a life member.
3619, thank you.
The Ritter.
It doesn't matter what branch of service, what organization you're part of. You're a brother, right? And or sister, and we're going to take care of you.
And we'll tease you like family members if you're from a different branch.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought that up. This Retiree Appreciation Day is for all services. As a matter of fact, when I set up my flag display, I will have all services out there.
And the Space Force?
Working on getting a Space Force flag.
Yeah.
Those are hard to come by.
I bet you if you were to put one up from like Star Trek or something, no one would know the difference.
I'll put a little sign up there that says Space Force flag missing. Right, so.
Space Forces.
On
It
order.
floated away. I don't know.
Well, this podcast might reach somebody from Space Force.
You never
that
know.
can hook me up.
I'll send it down to McDill. No, not McDill. Patrick. That is a Space Force base. Patrick Space Force base.
Patrick, Space Force base, come on. Get it to me.
Now, I just wanted to reiterate and clarify for everyone out there that an annual Retire Appreciation Day recognizes approximately 42,000 retired military family members and survivors of deceased and retired personnel residing in the state of Louisiana and 9 counties in Southeast Texas.
That's correct.
Now, this event is going to provide military retirees and their families an opportunity to conduct personal business related to their benefits as a military retiree and to renew common bonds with active duty community. So it's a time to reconnect with your active duty brethren and sisterin.
And we do it uniquely. We have static displays from agencies across, or from units across the installation. 3rd Brigade, 10th Mountain Division, which I retired out of. MPs, the JROTC, or excuse me, not JROTC, but Ops Group.
Yeah, there's no O in there. It's just JRTC.
705th EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. Last year they had a ordnance disposal robot. You could deactivate a mine. It's really cool, some of the displays we have.
Nice.
So bring the grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they get to play with stuff. You know, last year it was so awesome. There was a 72-year-old airborne paratrooper, and one of the displays that Ops Group usually brings, or 509th brings, is a parachutist dummy and a parachute so they can strap it on. And this gentleman, he walked up there kind of hunched over, right? But boy, when he put that parachute on,
It straightened him out.
it straightened him out. He stood up straight and proud, chest poked out. That was an airborne paratrooper right there. And we invite you to come try on our parachute.
Now, you're not discriminating against the legs, right?
No.
Okay, good.
Because I am a late. I was a field artillery meteorologist. My data, I actually saw an artillery piece hit a car-size target at 17 miles away
Oh, wow.
using my data to correct fire. So I had a really cool job.
So it was more than just telling people if it was raining or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
I could do that, but we were focused on fire corrections for anything that fired, whether it be MLRS, rocket launchers, small artillery mortars, up to the big 155s, right? We did whatever they asked. Also, when I was in Korea, we did support for UAVs to help them land safely, because those are high dollar. We don't want to crash one of those.
You know, Jeff, it's got to be more than just telling it's raining, because what I have found in life is if you're outside and it's raining, you know.
Apparently, well, people hold their hand out because there's normally no hair on your palm. That's why bald people walk outside and just immediately know.
Yes. Yes. Or people with glasses.
Yeah, something like that. So if you go outside and it's wet, it's raining. If it's hot, it's sunny.
But you know what? We got a backup plan for everything. If it's raining, that
what
day,
happens
you
then?
come on out. We're going to take care of business. We're going to have extra tents for people to get under. And we're still going to do a cake cutting ceremony. Most of the things, except for the static displays, take place inside, right? So that's a good thing. So if it's hot that day, we'll have AC. If it's cold that day, we'll have heat. And bottom line, we're going to have open arms for retirees across this region.
Now, the important thing that's going to get everyone out there is there's going to be cake.
Yes.
And popcorn.
We are hoping to get popcorn.
I hope so. I hope you got popcorn.
We are getting Walmart has agreed to help us out with 50 dozen donuts.
Are they going to have the cashiers bring them over?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to pick them up that morning, and we'll have donuts and pastries here. Also, some of the outside agencies provide stuff.
Now, on the civilian side, is there anybody from civilian retirement going to be over there, or do you think they'll have a table, or maybe in the future sometime have a table for civilian retirements?
I'm writing that down
For
right now
for like a GS or a government job?
because we never really thought about that. That's a great idea.
I'll tell you, I went through a benefits brief last Thursday, and there was a lot of things. And I wouldn't say this is important to find out from when you're getting retired from civil service, but you should be finding out 10 years out, just like when the military. This is when you start your documentation process. This is when you look like what your life insurance policy is going to look like. Even if you're already a retired military,
Mm-hmm.
there's more benefits when you retire from the civil service.
That's correct.
And if you haven't been tracking all these benefits, it can be, some of it can be, wow, I had no clue. That's an extra this much money a month, or that's something I don't have to take care of anymore. I don't have to worry about this anymore.
It can be overwhelming, and that's a great idea. I will engage those agencies and have them put a little table out there, if not with someone, but with at least some paperwork that can help guide them down that path.
I mean, I've looked at it for a long time now. I mean, that's my goal in life is to retire, so I don't have to work anymore. But that is the FERS retirement and TSP and everything that it takes with the civilian's retirement. It's confusing. It's involved. There's a lot to it. I mean, you got this combined with that, combined with this, but you have to have these many years, but not this many. And it's like, oh wow, my head hurts. But,
So I think that'd be a great addition to it.
It would, and I appreciate the
I mean,
input.
even just one table would be.
And you know what? If you're out there and you're listening to this podcast, you call us and let us know what you want at the RAD.
Yeah, his number is 531-0363. That's 337-531-0363. Or 0363 if you're a math teacher and you don't like me saying oh.
And if I can't pick it up, you can call Miss Renee or Miss Rita Ashworth. Her phone number is area code 337-531-0402. She's the assistant RSO on the installation, and she will make sure I get your message.
Excellent.
Jeff, you got a little recap over
I
there
do.
of everything that's going on?
I do. We've got Soldier for Life golf tournaments going on October 15th. It starts at 9, and that's going to be at the Warrior Hills Golf Course. It's a 4-person team scramble, and the price is $50 per person. And that includes fees, all the fees, lunch, and prizes galore. And you can register for that at 337-531-4661. And of course, that same day, we're having the JRTC and Fort Polk 46th Annual Retiree Appreciation Day. The opening ceremony is at 8 a.m., and that's over at the Consolidated In-N-Out Processing. The address is 1716 3rd Street, and that's building 250. That is right across the street from BJAC, down the hill. If you plug that into Google, it should show up properly. And they're going to have all kinds of information booths, equipment displays, refreshments. Legal's going to be there, ID card services, Soldier for Life golf tournament, of course, and after the ceremony and cake cutting.
There will be cake.
There will be cake. The BJAC is going to be offering information booths, health screenings, immunizations, as well as pharmacy and dental services.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
I tell you, and we couldn't do it without everybody coming together. You know, we create a plan, and it gets executed because of the good people we have here on Fort Polk. You know, Fort Polk gets a bad rap because the people that see Fort Polk are usually out in the box or in the woods. So all they know is I'm sweating to death, I'm getting chigger bites, oh, and I got a tick somewhere where I shouldn't, right? They don't know Fort Polk like we know Fort Polk, like the people in this area. I could have retired anywhere in the United States that I wanted to. I chose Fort Polk for a reason. The people around here are the best people I've ever met.
I still want to go to Belize.
Well, yeah, places are always good to visit, but boy,
Maybe we
There's
should
no
make a
place like home.
retiree appreciation trip.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Retiree appreciation cruise.
Look,
Maybe.
the world is our oyster.
But anyways, hey man, everybody would like to thank Joel Locklear for showing up and being here. Appreciate it. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everyone out there for listening to our broadcast. And we'd like to say thank you. And until next time, I'm Jeff England.
I'm Keith Ewan.
And we are out of here.